Hey guys, it's Bub here, and today we're going to be unboxing, benchmarking, and reviewing the HP Probook 455R G6. My model came with a Ryzen 5 and Vega 8 graphics. Without any further ado, let's get into the unboxing. After cutting the tape that was on the top of my box, we can take a look inside of the Probook's box. The first thing we can remove is the 45-watt power adapter. We can then flip over the box to remove the Probook and its instructions in all of its glory. The Probook is protected in the box by two cardboard parts, and then it is wrapped in plastic. We can then remove the piece of tape that holds the plastic together, or we can just rip the plastic covering over the Probook. Once we do that, we can then remove the Probook from its own plastic covering. Inside of the laptop, there is a black sheet that covers the keyboard. We can just remove this and set it aside. We can now take a look at the outside of the Probook. We have the power and USB-C ports, an Ethernet port, an HDMI port, two USB-A ports, and a headphone jack. On the opposite side, we have another USB-A port, ventilation, an SD card reader, and a hard drive indicator light. After plugging in the computer and pressing power, we finally got the boot screen. After the boot screen, we were able to successfully set up Windows through the normal Windows setup. This part is the same on every computer, so I'll just skip right through it. In my opinion, the Probook's keyboard is the best keyboard I've typed on that's on a laptop. The trackpad is okay. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. The first benchmark we are running is Cinebench R20. This will evaluate our computer's performance capabilities. The video you are seeing is 6 times the regular speed, as you can see on the iPhone stopwatch. I decided to leave this part in the video so you can kind of get a feel at how this computer would perform and how long it took to do the Cinebench R20 benchmark. Cinebench finished with a time of 4 minutes and 12 seconds with a score of 1,218, number 10 on the ranking. The other benchmark I ran was User Benchmark, just to get another view on how well this computer performs. You can pause the video and take a look at each specific section if you would like to. I also ran Crystal Disk Mark to check the speeds of the 256GB SSD that's installed in this computer. I decided to try some light gaming on this business-oriented computer on those settings. We fluctuated from around 20 to 40 FPS in Minecraft single player with a 5 render distance. Now this is playable for some people, but not playable for most. For me, who usually would get around 300 FPS on my MacBook Pro, this is nearly not enough for an enjoyable experience. Playing multiplayer on a server like Hypixel with players off rendered about the same FPS, which is okay, but for competitive PvP games, you're gonna want a little bit more out of this machine. We can now look a little bit closer at the specifications of this computer. We have a Ryzen 5 Mobile 3500U paired with AMD Radeon Vega 8 graphics inside of this machine. In a world where a lot of our business is now through video meetings, I decided to test out the webcam on this machine. I decided to record a video, and I will play it back now. So this is the HP Probook 455R G6 audio and webcam test. Not bad. So this is the HP Probook 455R G6 audio and webcam test. Not bad. So we can see that the webcam on this machine, and the microphone for that matter, are not that great. I recommend having an external webcam and microphone for video calls. Another thing we can test is 1080p playback on YouTube videos, the screen quality and the audio quality. Keep in mind this audio is coming from my G7X Mark II's microphone, so it may not be as good as it would be in real life.
But I guess you have to do what you have to do. Inside the iPhone X box, we had the information packet and the phone itself. It came with no charging brick or charger. Get all the fingerprints off it. I noticed that the display was bulging from the frame. This is due to a lack of display is heating up rapidly, and I cannot turn off the phone because the digitizer no longer responds to touch.
The audio sounds much better in real life than it does on camera. The display is a 1080p non-reflective and non-touch panel. I decided to run a real-life test on the battery and the performance. So, starting off with 96% on this settings, we'll see how long this lasts us. After 4 hours and 10 minutes of constant web browsing and 1080p video playback, we were at 5%. But when I went to show you, the computer died right then. So, 4 hours and 10 minutes. We'll now be comparing the Surface Pro 2017, which cost about the same as the Probook when it was new, to the HP Probook, starting off with a startup test. And we can already see that the Probook's Ryzen 5 has beat the Surface Pro's Core M3, which isn't that surprising, but the Surface Pro is still booting up, and it has an SSD as well. Finally, the Surface Pro shows its lock screen. We'll now be comparing opening app speeds on both the Surface Pro and the HP Probook, starting off with Microsoft Edge. And we can already see that the Probook has won the Edge test. The next app will be Microsoft's built-in Mail for Windows 10, and as we can see, the Probook opened and completed first. Next, we'll be trying Windows F to open the Feedback Hub, which in my experience has been very slow in some builds of Windows 10. So far, we're waiting for it to load, and the HP Probook loaded the Feedback Hub first. Now we're opening Windows Explorer, and I believe that they both opened at the same time, so I'm calling this one a tie. The last app we will be opening is the Microsoft Store, and for once, the Surface Pro won this test. So, I've used this computer for the last few days instead of my Surface Pro, and here are my thoughts. So far, I really like the build quality. The solid aluminum design of this computer makes it perfect for transport and use. The edges of where the palm rests are not too sharp like they were on previous laptops of mine. They fit great, and my watch does not touch them, which means the aluminum does not get scratched when my watch touches it. The Probook is very fast and snappy and responsive to clicks. The only issue I have with anything on the computer really is the trackpad. I do not like it. It is okay. Like I said, it's not the worst, but it's not the best. I feel like the trackpad could be better on a Probook machine. This computer will not be my main computer. In fact, this isn't my computer at all. I was shipped this computer to set up and install Linux on so it can be used in a web browsing environment. Although a Ryzen 5 and 8 gigs of RAM are very much overkill for web browsing now, let's say in 5 years, this computer will be perfect for web browsing and doing tasks such as that because it has the high specifications and it will last longer because it is a business-oriented laptop with a very good build quality and design. If you would like to see me install Linux on this machine, there should be an iCard in the top right of the screen or a link in the description to a video on my second channel of me installing Ubuntu 20.04 on this machine. One thing I do recommend doing if you get a HP computer or any computer for that matter is reinstalling Windows to remove all the bloat that the manufacturer installs by default. Anyway guys, what do you think about this HP Probook? Do you think it's worth it? I sure do. Anyway guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new around here. I do technology videos like this and device restorations. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.